You got me running, shake it, shake it, shake it, feel that. Raise your hands up, raise them up.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Forex Trading Asia Daily Currency Call. And today is episode 300. And today is the 28th of May, 11 a.m. here in Singapore. So this is the currency call where you will get market economic updates, key support, resistance levels, trade ideas, and more. This currency call is going to be very beneficial to both the long-term investors and short-term traders. Here we will be going through what could move prices, possible trade ideas, and also highlighting potential targets and risk. So a disclaimer here, any information shared during this session is not intended to be a trade recommendation. It is solely the opinion and views of the speaker. So please remember to do your own analysis prior to entering any trades. Okay, so let's get Kim Hong here first to share today. Kim Hong, currency analyst at LCMS Traders. So I think he has something to share about the pound movement yesterday. Kim Hong.
All right, episode 300. I bring to you something blockbusting. Well, not exactly blockbusting, but okay. Anyway, as we all know that the Bank of England, okay, has been tight-lipped on when they will actually be tapering the QE, okay, quantitative easing, or actually tell us like, when will they do a rate hike, okay? Or maybe at least talk about when they will start talking about a tapering of QE, okay? Well, we can all understand this because, due to the high uncertainty caused by the pandemic and so on and so forth, okay? However, okay, during his speech yesterday, a Bank of England committee member, Vliha, okay, excuse my pronunciation, I don't really know how to pronounce this Dutch name, okay? Now, he said this in his speech. Okay, let me show you what he said. Okay, so, oops, looks like I'm a bit hang again this time. But can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. So, okay, I'm just going to read out what he said because I can see it right now. I'm not sure if you guys can see what I'm seeing. Okay, so he mentioned during his speech, okay, relative to the MPC's central projection, I worry, oh, okay, it's back. Okay, relative to the MPC central projection, I worry, let me see, where is it? I worry that the transition out of furlough does involve a modest rise in the unemployment rate, while the economy's supply potential is somewhat less adversely affected, so that there is still some excess supply around the turn of the year. Now, in that scenario, the first rise in bank rate is likely to become appropriate only well into next year, with some modest further tightening thereafter. Okay, so what this actually means is, okay, to be honest with you, now, all the while they haven't been giving any clues on, when all this QE tapering will take place. But with this speech, okay, by this committee member, it actually signifies a potential change in the central bank's sentiment towards the economy, the economic recovery of United Kingdom, all right? So I think this is something that we should all pay attention to. The next Bank of England meeting will be held on 24th of June, okay? I would say, pay attention to what they have to say there. They may actually drop a hint or two on, when they will actually start to discuss on all this quantitative easing, tapering, and or interest rate hike, okay? So with this hawkish remark by the committee member, we actually see a strengthening in pound, all right? We actually see a strengthening in pound. So let me share with you my chart. Before you guys actually, go buying pound, just buy pound with like 10 lots, 20 lots and kind of stuff. Okay, so yesterday, if you guys can see this arrow, this downward pointing arrow here. Now, this bullish candle here actually was a result of what the committee member just mentioned yesterday, all right? It actually went up by pound dollar, actually strengthened by around 50 pips. And it actually continued going up before, going a bit stagnant and stuff like that. Now, before you guys actually go buying, pound dollar and stuff like that, I would like to draw your attention to something, a key level actually. Wait, let me see, where is my, can you guys see my chart clearly?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I need to, okay. Now, okay, great. What you guys are looking at right now is the weekly chart of pound dollar. Now, why weekly chart, right? You might be wondering. Now, if you realize that the last time pound dollar hit this high was 2021 February, okay, and the previous time it actually hit that high was this region over here, okay, this area over here, which is 2018. Now, it's actually been like 3 years. So we can actually say that the last time pound dollar hit this high was actually 3 years ago. Now, would you want to keep buying up? I would say we have to wait, okay? Now, this level is actually the 1.42 handle. Now, let's zoom out. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but I'll just drag the chart. Okay, when was it? When was the last time pound dollar actually hit that high? Let's take a look. Wow, it's actually way back in 2015. Okay, so that's like some 6 years ago. Okay, so with this whole 6 years ago high kind of thing, kind of level that we are looking at right now, I would just like to give you guys a word of caution right here, right now. Okay, if you want to look to buy pound dollar, I would actually wait for pound dollar to break way above 1.42. All right, way above 1.42 before looking for buying opportunities. As you can see that, this is like the last time it was happily trading around that level, above the level, I would say, is 2015. Okay, so yeah, this is just a word of caution. Other than that, yep, pay attention to the Bank of England's meeting in June 24th of June. All right. And I will continue to provide you guys with updates on Bank of England if any more committee members starts talking and things like that. But for now, okay, this is a crucial period. All right, so any committee members from any central bank around the major ones, okay, the major ones being like the Fed, Bank of Canada, New Zealand, Australia, Japan, Switzerland, even, okay, and of course England and Europe. Any major okay, any speeches made by central bankers or committee members, central bank committee members during this period should be actually paid attention to, because you might not know when such movement may take place. Okay, so with that, I will hand it back to Jinwei.
Hey, Kim Hong, but before that, I think Jin is asking a question. What do you think is the likelihood for pound US to break 1.42?
Okay, what is the likelihood for pound to break 1.42? Okay, I will give you two answers, all right? The short-term and the long-term answers, okay? Short-term wise, unlikely, to be honest, unlikely. Why is that the case? Let me just show you the chart. Share screen, oops. Okay, so like I've shown you guys earlier, okay, this 1.42 is a darn strong resistance level. You can consider it as a darn strong resistance level, all right? So although the committee member, okay, yesterday he just told us that, we may be looking into it, but realize that, actually, you know what, let me show you this, what he mentioned, because I think I forgot to highlight a point here. Now, okay, so you see, back to the speech that he made yesterday. So he said that I worry that the transition out of furlough does involve. Now, what is a furlough? Okay, a furlough is actually a temporary leave of employees due to special needs. Okay, now last year there was something special, right? COVID-19, the pandemic hits the world, so it's a special reason for employees to take a temporary leave, short break, as what the UK likes to put it, from work. Okay, now he actually mentioned that this is actually the condition for the central bank to actually consider a rate rise in 2022. Okay, so as to whether pound dollar will break 1.42 in the short term, highly unlikely. Why is that the case? Now, the furlough will end in September 2021. That's one thing, okay? Now, before the furlough actually ends, can the central bank actually know if, the program actually exits smoothly, meaning, people will start going back to work, and entering the workforce, and when we have a decent employment figures and things like that? Answer is no. Okay, therefore, the central bank will likely have to wait for the furlough program to end in September before actually having a clearer idea as to whether, we are more or less certain that an interest rate hike will take place in 2022. Okay, but however, it is still important to take note of the upcoming central bank event, monetary policy announcement specifically, all right, because they may actually start to carry out discussion on, on the whole, if let's say the furlough program exits smoothly and people starts to go back to workforce, and thus if we actually see good employment figures, okay, good jobs report, then we may actually start to reduce QE by a certain rate, a certain number of figure and things like that. So all these are the points that we have to take note. But it doesn't mean that they will confirm that rate hike is in 2021. Now, as to the longer projection, okay, I would say yes, I would say there's a good chance that pound dollar, okay, will actually break above 1.42. Okay, now all this, of course, there's no 100% guarantee, right? Okay, so what is the condition that may prove me wrong? Okay, now as we know that the COVID situation in UK right now is pretty good. Okay, they have been handling the pandemic quite well. Number of cases has been dropping to all-time low and things like that. Now, touch wood. Okay, I'm not cursing any country or anyone. All this will hold true if the pandemic is continuously making good progress. Okay, with that, pound dollar may stand a chance to break above 1.42. Okay, but if the unfortunate were to happen, then I would say pound dollar is likely going to stay below 1.42 for the time being, and maybe into next year. And yep, so I would say just pay attention to the short-term horizon right now. Don't go too far because there's too many variables that we can't really figure out. Okay, it's too many dependence on whether pound dollar will break above 1.42. Okay, I hope I answered your question.
Okay, thanks for that, Kim Hong. All right, so next I will get Scott here, Scott Andrews from Forex Briefcase Australia, to share about the dollar index. Scott.
All right, thanks everyone for joining us, and happy episode 300 as well. And thanks, Kim Hong, for your thorough analysis as well. So I'll just share the screen now with the US dollar index, and it's been pretty muted, to be honest. I recently posted just about how it does seem to have stabilized at around 90. So in regards to what's been going on and things like that, we did have unemployment claims data out last night, and it was slightly better than expected. So it does look like at 406,000 compared to 427,000 forecasted, that it did beat that a little bit. So employment is returning slightly faster than expected. And then, what that will do is, I guess, potentially what the market saw that as is it wasn't, going to cause more inflation issues because the more people at work, it's deemed that that's going to help with supply constraints and things like that. But still early days, we're going to probably see some more data coming out, which would suggest that, the people in that camp, when it comes to, hyperinflation, inflation concerns, is still going to be little concerned. So the market is not completely risk on. So what we do have coming up later tonight, guys, to pay attention to is at 10 p.m. GMT plus 8 time. We've got the Michigan consumer expectations, which is not a highly impactful event, but out of 3 stars, it's classified as 2 or so. So it's something to pay attention to. And then we've got a lot of data coming out at 8:30 tonight as well. So I would, how I'm playing the situation is that it continues to hover around 90. And if you're watching other pairs, it's just something to pay attention to. So at 10 o'clock as well, there's also 10 o'clock GMT plus 8 time, we've got inflation expectations as well. We've got the forecast at 4.65%. So that's something else to pay attention to. So, as we get into tonight's session where we are in the world with our time zone, we'll get a bit of an idea of what is happening, but it's just been pretty flat. And, something maybe would be if it holds this, that's a nice low there at around, we've got, maybe 89, 90, and then we'll just see what the data does and how the market reacts to it. So nothing really exciting to talk about in regards to what's been happening with the US dollar, and we're just seeing it sideways. Potentially a little upside with the data, especially the inflation data. We might see a little, bump higher when that comes out, but nothing really, too noteworthy to talk about. The pound US dollar was definitely a good, point raised, and just be careful with that as well, guys. With buying at the top there, it's always, that's where people can really get hurt a little bit. So those are my thoughts on the US dollar.
Okay, thanks for that, Scott. I'll get into the currency in focus today, which is the Canadian dollar. We'll get Jin Dao Tai, founder of LCMS Traders, a multi-million-dollar trader trading an account with more than $14 million on a daily basis. Jin, I'll pass it to you for the US CAD.
Okay, thank you so much. So episode 300, there we go. Looking at the US CAD today, it's actually quite interesting. The focus hasn't been too much on the CAD. It's been over the past couple of days. Yesterday it was the pound, and before that, we're looking at the euro and all the other pairs apart from CAD. CAD actually has become a bit of the forgotten pair. Why is that? Because I will show you here on the charts. US CAD on H4 time frame over the past 1, 2, 3 weeks has been sitting below that 1.2148 resistance level. At the lowest it's gone was at 1.2036. So for 3 weeks, it's been sitting in about 100 pip range, which isn't really much to do at this point. And this is in comparison with all the other currency pairs which are reaching multi-year highs, as Kim Hong was just sharing, or the US dollar gaining some traction back off its low points. So the US CAD hasn't been doing too much over the last couple of weeks. And I do think that this might change, right? Why is this likely to change? Here, looking at the Forex Trading Asia economic calendar, today, you can see that today we do have a lot of news. We've got a lot of Euro news, a lot of US news, all these we spoke about, where is it? The consumer sentiment that Scott was just sharing, that might actually change the US dollar a little bit, but probably not too much. The US CAD is likely, in my view, likely to remain in this range for today and possibly into next week as well. We do have the budget being announced from Canada, but that's probably not going to change prices too much. What I want to change your focus towards is next week. You can see on Monday, we have the US on holiday, Memorial, no CAD news as well, right? I'm scrolling through this news quite quickly. There are some CAD news, but not going to move prices too much. On Tuesday, you can see a lot of news. This first week of the June month, a lot of news, but nothing going to move the CAD too crazily. And I keep scrolling. We've got GP numbers coming out, possibly going to be a little bit, they're pricing in a good number, but I think it might be a bit of a negative, a bit of a bad number coming out from the Canadian side. So be careful of that. And then on Wednesday, as we continue scrolling through Thursday, where am I? I'm trying to get to Friday. Okay, so Friday, watch out, 4th of June, the Friday, it is the US non-farm payrolls being released, and also the Canadian employment numbers being released. You can see that we might actually see possibly some good news coming from unemployment rates. We might see that they had quite bad numbers from previous months. We might see some sort of recovery coming from the Canadian side. So possibly with all this lack of news for next week, all leading up to Friday next week, what I anticipate for the CAD, for the US CAD in this case, is that it might actually sit right across. It sit in this 100 pip range for one more week, right? It's possibly going to sit in this range for one more week. So it will look a bit like that. All the way till Friday next week, where we could actually see some good news coming from CAD, which might push it down a little bit. Okay, if the employment numbers from the CAD does come out positive, unemployment rate from 8.1% going to 7.8%, we might actually see the US CAD push down lower. However, I don't think that any downward move will be sustained. I think that we might actually see some US dollar strength come around. A lot of US news. We got the non-farm payrolls as well at the same time. So I think we might see a lot of volatility on Friday next week. At this point, it's a snooze fest for the US CAD until Friday next week. A lot of volatility, but I'm still looking for hopefully some upward move in the US CAD off this multi-year low. Bear in mind why I say be very careful if it does drop below this range is if I go into the daily time frame, you can see that it's sitting right across. If I go into weekly time frame, you can see it's in a multi-year low. If I go to a monthly time frame here, the last time we were at this point was way back in 2015. It's hit this point, hit the 1.1945 level and bounce straight back up. I'm possibly anticipating something like that, but probably not such a big bounce, possibly going to sit across before bouncing back up. So be very careful at this point if you do anticipate that the US CAD is going to head significantly lower.
Okay, thank you, Jin, for that. So today is Friday too, so we will be doing the cryptocurrency analysis today. And let's get Daniel here from LCMS Traders to share a little bit about the cryptocurrencies.
Okay, thanks, Jinwei. Looking at cryptocurrencies right now, Bitcoin and Ether. Last week it was actually thought we were waiting game. Yes, last week we've been looking at how low have the currency been moving. Correct. So look at Bitcoin. I mentioned that if it really breaks below 45,000, we will possibly go to the 30,000 range. It did that touch and come back, and we're waiting for. And last week I mentioned that we will have to wait patiently to see if there's any recovery, and it must break above the 45,000 range. It has not done that. In fact, last week, this week actually, since we talked. It has tried to retest again the 30,000 range level before bouncing back up again, and right now it is hovering around 38,000. Now the question now will be, would it be able to push up? Yes. So first of all, we would like to see that it breaks above the 200 EMA numbers. Okay, so there's about 45, 41,000, 42,000 range. Then we must break above to be on a confirmation side, get it break above the 45,000 range. Why I'm saying that is because right now there are a lot of there's some stories coming in and a lot of news like people like the billionaire Carl Icahn is maybe considering to jump into cryptocurrency. So Bitcoin, Ether, all this will be part of his portfolio if he really does start coming in. You also hear stories or rumors that Apple is also considering for cryptocurrencies payment as well. But I think all this will still be on hold till the US and the various countries regulations come in much clearer, because right now the US has been talking about regulation on the cryptocurrencies, but people are still unclear what exactly will happen. So I think with more application coming in, they probably all this payment wise will still take a backseat and until the regulations comes in. But that again. So remember for Bitcoin, wait for it to break above the 45,000 range before you even consider for to invest in the Bitcoin currencies. Now, the other Ether will be a slightly different story. Ether is really good. Ether has been really respected at the 2,000 range, similar to the Bitcoin, retested again and has bounced up above the 25,000 range coming in. So it consistently still above the 200 EMA. So for Ether, still a little bit bullish movement, and there's a lot of news about applications on the Ether, more applications, more usage of the Ether, and people are also talking about for shifting already from Bitcoin to Ether, moving in. So Ether could be the next big currency movements to be after Bitcoin. So now, right, this we will wait. So I'm looking for this chance right now to break above this 50 EMA coming in, and if it's a continuation of a movement upwards here towards 3,300 range, then yes, then I would say the range of the uptrend may come in. But I still, similar to Bitcoin, the regulations going to the big push up will come in from the way people are waiting for the regulations coming in. So hang in there for those who have invested in the crypto. Maybe I have a good news. I think more or less it has bottomed out already, if I may dare to say so, and we are just waiting for another big push upwards, barring any negative news or regulations coming in. Okay, so that's all I have for the cryptocurrencies. Jinwei.
Okay, thanks for that, Daniel. All right, so we are not done yet, guys. Don't leave the webinar yet. Yeah, so this morning when I checked my Forex Briefcase account, I saw that it grew by at least 2,000 USD. And immediately I was like, hey, I need to get Jonathan in to share Forex Briefcase to everybody here. So yeah, so Jonathan is here from Forex Briefcase to share a little bit about what Forex Briefcase is all about. John.
Okay, good morning everyone, and thanks to our panel of analysts for the good sharing earlier. Okay, so I'm Jonathan from Forex Briefcase, and what exactly is Forex Briefcase about? Forex Briefcase is a managed account service trading in the FX market by our specialized team of traders, okay, to take advantage of the movements and opportunities that the market presents, okay, and we actually trade the FX market to provide a return for our clients. Forex Briefcase is has clients globally, okay, at the moment over 800 clients and across 12 countries. And let me just bring some highlights of Forex Briefcase to you. Over 33 months, okay, our track record, we have gross an ROI of 93.97%. What that means is bringing an average of 3% per month. Okay, as much as you think that this is a fantastic return, okay, our maximum drawdown so far, we have only experienced a negative 2.24% on our very, very worst month. Okay, so compared to the average of 3% ROI per month, that is still significantly lower. And out of these 33 months, okay, if you're wondering, like, do we win most months or lose on many months, we actually achieve a 90.9% figure for being profitable, which means that out of 33 months, okay, we have only lost for 3 months, winning all 30 months, and in that 3 months, the biggest drawdown is 2.24%. Okay, so from that, I believe you can see that how we do it is a very gentle and consistent vehicle, okay, for an investment, and not something that is like will take you on a roller coaster ride, okay, that you can't sleep. So bringing on to the next slide, okay, I think that from this chart, you can see the consistency that I'm talking about. bringing your attention to the table below, you can see the breakdown of the month-on-month ROI that we have achieved so far. Okay, so unlike all the currency charts and crypto charts that you've seen previously, I'm sure you would love this. Okay, one direction and a gentle slope rather than going up and down, not knowing where to go. Okay, so like Jinwei mentioned, he woke up with a surprise. I believe most of our clients are very satisfied with what they see this morning. This is a screenshot taken from one account. Okay, this week's ROI from the 24th, we have already made 1.94%. Okay, which that means for this account, $200,000. The return is 3,870, which can be significant to many. And just this year alone, okay, January to April, now we are ending May. Okay, we'll bring the May figures to you soon. We have already made 11.79% for our clients. Okay, so why you see, if you can see the screenshot of the MT4 on my right, you'll see that most trades, most profitable trades were done last night. Okay, and actually back to Kim Hong's analysis, our team has taken advantage of the news that was coming out from the UK, and you know, our team has been busy, you know, yesterday putting in these trades for you guys, and that's how we at Forex Briefcase take advantage of these market movements. And you guys have been following us for 300 days already. If you are enjoying our analysis, enjoying the approach, this is also the method that our team adopts and how we view and take advantage of these movements in the market for you. Okay, so if you're interested in this managed account service, okay, whether you are looking for a stable and consistent investment, whether you are interested in the FX market, but you're still not sure of navigating it on your own, or if you have jumped on the bandwagon with the recent crypto hype, okay, and at the moment, either you have already made some good money last few weeks, or you have held your positions and thinking why the heck the market has crashed. Okay, this will be the fantastic alternative to you, or it should be the main form of investment where you put the bulk of your money while you leave some spare cash to play with those more speculative products. Okay, so the links I believe Jinwei has already put in the chat. Okay, get in touch with us. It only takes less than an hour to set up an account. Okay, of course, depending on how much time you dedicate to it, which I believe you should. The account will be held under your own name. You maintain full control of deposits and withdrawals of your accounts. And most important of all, there will be a three-way agreement signed. Okay, so this investment is all in black and white. So with that, I wish you guys a good Friday, okay, while we continue the currency call.
Okay, thanks for that, Jonathan. Yeah, so now earn while you sleep is not a myth anymore. I literally earned money while I slept yesterday like a baby. Thanks, Jonathan. Help me tell the Forex Briefcase trading team I'll buy them lunch soon. Yeah, so okay. So we have come to the end of the session today. I've pasted the links for Forex Briefcase in the chat. Make sure you guys click on it and put in an inquiry. The Forex Briefcase team will reach out ASAP. All right, so we have come to the end of the session today. We'll see you guys next Monday for the Aussie and Kiwi. Thank you so much. Bye.